I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your 3-minute cattle market update for Friday, April the 21st. Where we're coming out of this down market. It seems like ever since we set those all-time record highs there a few years ago, we've just been in a downer and haven't been able to really get out of it. But we're setting some milestones here in the fed cattle arena. We're getting our weights down there really low, where it's really helping our fundamentals out, and looks to be in a healthy market where just a few months ago, if you looked at things that should be happening right now in this summer, it didn't look all that great. But you look at the April live cattle futures closed here on Thursday at 129.62. That's the highest that a spot live cattle contract has been in a year. So that gives you an idea. It's kind of hard to remember, but that's quite a while. And the fed cattle prices that were established this week are higher than a year ago levels for almost 2 years. So that gives you an idea of how we've just been struggling to get pulled up out of this thing. You look at your futures market for the middle of the week, mid to late week, live cattle futures for June. Wednesday was up 30. Thursday was up 52 to end the day on Thursday at 116.47, and as I said, April spot market ended at 129.62. It got up to where we were last week on an established market, but we threw another $3 or $4 on there. Now it's got to run again to try to track it down before we get to the end of the month. Feeder cattle futures for May, Wednesday was up a quarter. Thursday was down 57 cents to close on Thursday at 139.75. But that's really a premium to what the market is right now, and we're getting really close to the April contract. Just staying real close, tying into what your index levels are for feeder cattle. But fats for the week traded on Wednesday early in the afternoon after the packers abused the fed cattle exchange again. Only bought around 700 head out of 4,500 offered. Ended up giving a little over 128, or between 128 and 129 on the weighted average, from 26.5 all the way up to 129.25. But within just an hour or so after the fed cattle exchange timed auction was over, direct prices were $2 to $3 or $4 higher than that. So then that was after 2 weeks of not buying hardly anything on that fed cattle exchange. So it's not looking like they're going to support that thing, and they're not really hiding the fact that they don't like to have a competitive venue to bid on finished cattle. But you look at the market that was established on Wednesday, and then some more cleanup trade on Thursday, which is important because through Wednesday, almost 95,000 head were sold in the 5-area feeding region. We're going to have a huge week, way over 100,000. With Texas established a price $4 higher at 132. Kansas from 130 to 131, $2 to $3 higher. Nebraska at 133, $212 on a dress basis. That's $5 to $6 higher. Kansas had some 133. Iowa, of course, there's no cattle ready in Iowa, and just not much trade at all in that 5-area region there. But pretty stout market, and like I said, that's the first time we've seen higher than year-ago levels in your cash trade for almost 2 years. That's very impressive. You look at the weighted averages on what's traded there through Wednesday, right around 131.50 on a live basis and 210.5 on a dress basis, but that was before we established that dress market at 212. But coming on Thursday, your actual dressed weight for the week ending April the 8th come out 852 pounds. That's 10 pounds lighter than the previous report, 28 pounds lighter than the same time a year ago, and 6 pounds lighter than the 5-year average. All of those are very positive for the fundamental markets for going forward from now, because it just takes more cattle to make up that tonnage when you don't have those big heavy carcasses like we've been running the last couple of years. Box beef cutout values have had a good week, rallying up there early in the week and then kind of holding steady later on in the week. Your slaughter's been decent, 455,000 through Thursday. That's 5,000 less than last week, but 13,000 more than the same week a year ago. You look at your feeder cattle markets For this week, OKC West, 12,800 head with the Tuesday and Wednesday combined there. Feeder steers $2 to $5 higher than last week's active higher market. Feeder heifers $1 to $3 higher. The calves on Tuesday predominantly sold $2 to $4 higher. Had a few peewee calves weighing under 5 week to $2 lower, but not a real good test of those. Your real-time index on Thursday gained 78 cents, and it's gained well over $3 so far this week from what it closed at the end of the week last week. So those are big gains on a index price from 7 to 900 pound steers up through your 12 state region. But your real-time index on Beef Market Central is leading the CME and showing it the way through there. You look at some Thursday sales. Pratt, Kansas had their calves $5 to $10 higher on the early call on the Beef Market Central market report. Feeder steers steady to $3 higher. Feeder heifers $4 to $8 higher. You look at your steers on that report, around 800 head of 8 weights, averaging 137.33. Pretty impressive there, but I was more impressed with the 9 weight average. Near 800 head of those 9 weight steers averaging 132.20, and that's really impressive. Salina, Kansas, farmers and ranchers livestock had their feeder steers $2 to $4 higher and feeder heifers $2 to $6 higher. Now that goes to show that these guys are thinking maybe these cattle are getting a little high because they're trying to keep their costs down by turning to heifers. Absolutely nothing wrong with feeding a heifer. Feeding heifers, they bring exactly the same or maybe even more on a dress basis when they're done. And the lighter they get, the more the disparage is. When you get down to light calves, it might be $40 or $50 a hundred, and it just keeps tightening up. So if you can figure out a way to make those cattle perform like a steer, you're way ahead of the game. But you look at around 1,000 head of 8 weights in Salina, Kansas, averaging 139.20. That's 3 minutes. We'll talk to you next week.